changing rules in the age of social media, especially for young women, when it comes to sexuality. Hypersexualized images, confusing messages. And just how far is too far? ABC's Aditi Roy on Sex and the Single Girl.
I just have a nice little bow back because it's like kind of cute and kind of sexy at the same time.
When 21-year-old Anne preps for a night out, she skews just a little more naughty than nice.
When I'm going out, I probably try to bring more attention to my eyes. Cheers.
Her sorority sisters call the look just slutty enough.
Like, if you're too slutty, you're going to attract the wrong attention. And if you're not slutty enough, you won't attract any attention.
But chasing the male gaze doesn't stop this college junior from calling herself a proud feminist.
I think being a feminist and wanting to be objectified can go hand in hand, because I think as a feminist, you should do whatever you want to do, and if you want to be objectified, then that's fine.
And she's not alone.
We tell girls that the most important thing is to be hot.
In the New York Times bestseller Girls and Sex, author Peggy Orenstein interviewed more than 70 young women, many of whom equate sexiness with empowerment.
Hot is commercialized, it's superficial, it's commodified. Self-objectification is presented to girls as a form of power and confidence, but so often for young women, that confidence comes off with their clothes.
And she says that's because society is sending confusing messages to young girls, while Sheryl Sandberg encourages us to lean in.
Believing you can do something is the first and necessary step to doing it.
And America may elect its first female president.
Do you think when you're president you'll be paid as much as if it were a male?
We're also being bombarded by oh so many, oh so sexy images. And on social media, it seems the more skin girls show, the more likes they get.
It tells young women over and over again that how their bodies look to other people is more important than how those bodies feel to themselves.
To complicate things further, if a girl comes across too sexy or promiscuous, they're punished for it, like when Kim Kardashian recently took it all off for a naked selfie. The pic sparked a social media backlash, or what some called slut shaming.
If any sexy guy posted a nude picture with a little black strip over his private areas, everybody be like, damn, he's hot, he's sexy, look at that body. Oh, he's a dad too. And it's just a double standard.
Amber Rose is an ex-stripper, famous for her sharp tongue and tumultuous relationship with ex-boyfriend Kanye West.
He has slut-shamed me on numerous occasions. And that's why I don't particularly care for him.
I'd take 30 showers before I got with Kim, you know?
It was very immature and corny. I want an apology for that.
She said the experience inspired her to create her own slut walk, a public demonstration against sexist double standards and victim shaming.
I want to thank everyone that came out. You guys are amazing. I love you guys so much.
But experts like Orenstein say it will take much more time to undo years of social conditioning where girls are groomed to put a man's desire and pleasure over their own. And not just in appearance, but also in performance.
Girls are more likely to measure their satisfaction by their partner's pleasure. They're more likely to say, he was satisfied, so I'm satisfied.
Something even our self-proclaimed feminist admits happens all too often.
I have many feminist friends. I don't know a single one that just says, this is about me. Tonight's about me and going out and making myself finish and getting pleasure.
What if every time you were with a guy, he told you to go get him a glass of water from the kitchen, and he never got you a glass of water? The girls I would talk to would laugh and they'd say, well, when you put it that way. And I think, maybe you should put it that way, because maybe you should think about why you're less insulted about performing a sex act over and over than getting water from the kitchen.
Orenstein says the double standard stems in part from the country's out-of-touch sex education curriculum. Today, just 24 states mandate sex education in public schools, and only 13 mandate that they be medically accurate. Something writer Tina Fey poked fun at in the movie Mean Girls.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die.
And then in her Netflix comedy, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
If I'm reading this right, one of us needs to go back for a banana. I blame my mom for this. She never taught me about the birds and the bees. And the Durnsville school system only taught us about the birds and the bees.
The sex education that I got was awful. There was never actually any courses on what sex was and what to expect.
And Anne says with parents who didn't speak to her about sex, she turned to the internet for answers. And like many girls her age, she eventually found them in porn.
We're not actually shown what we're supposed to look like. So I really turned to porn as comfort, to know that my body was okay and that my body was normal.
To look at regular porn as an instructional manual for sex is ridiculous.
Sam Phillips should know. She's a former softcore porn star.
And I saw that you have a new foot fetish thing coming out.
And the host of a weekly sex show on Vivid Radio.
If you want to teach your kid how to drive a car, do you teach them by watching an action movie? To expect to learn about sex by watching a porn is unrealistic because it is a made-up fantasy world.
Girls, they would ask me, my boyfriend always wants to know why I don't make the noises like the porn stars when we have sex. And I would say, it's a movie.
I've had guys say that to me, that I'm not expressive or vocal enough.
Sam points out that porn in general is not necessarily bad, but it's important to remember who the intended audience almost always is: men.
I didn't even know that a woman could finish from sex until a friend told me, probably like 3 years ago. And I'm 21.
Have, in some ways, American institutions like sex ed, have they failed us?
Sex ed really has failed us. Kids should learn about good sex in sex ed. Yes, they really should. Because if they don't learn basic ideas about what it ought to be, the culture is going to teach them.
In addition to better sex education classes, Orenstein says parents and educators need to address sex clearly and honestly.
There are ways to talk about sexual autonomy so that you're understanding your own needs and desires, so that you're able to communicate them.
And she says empowerment won't be the only positive outcome. She lauds the Dutch, whose college students have fewer pregnancies, diseases, and report less sexual regret than their American counterparts.
The Dutch talk to their kids from a very early age, the parents, the teachers, the doctors, very clearly, very explicitly about sex. But American parents tended to stress risk and disease. And Dutch parents talked about balancing responsibility and joy.
But Orenstein says the most important thing is that young women today feel empowered to put themselves first. And Anne says she's doing just that.
I'm having the best time of my life, and I can enjoy being single and my independence, and I want to go out and experience as many people as possible and just enjoy my time here.
For Nightline, I'm Aditi Roy in Berkeley, California.